call this meeting of Macon County Board of Commissioners to order, and I'd like to welcome everybody. This was did we adjourn? Is this a special call?
No, this is continuation.
A continuation. Okay, thank you for reminding me. Let me point out the obvious while we're here tonight, give you a little bit of background information, and then we'll move right forward. We found out in, I guess about July of this past year that our longtime county manager, Jack Morton, was going to retire, and we accepted that with regret. He's done a super job for us, been one of the best county managers in the state of North Carolina, and a good guy. So while we hate to see him go, we realized this would be an opportunity to bring a new person on that would also do a good job. We advertised the position locally. We advertised it. It was in the local papers, radio station. It was in the regional papers. It was the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners. Advertisers. We got 38 applications. From those 38, we chose 4. And we interviewed 4, and I think it's just full disclosure to tell you, we did protect the names of those that applied because all 4 of them were employed at places, and so we respected their privacy. But I think that at this point, I think it's fair to tell you that out of the 4, and these guys verified this, 3 of them were the #1 pick of at least one of us. So what that says is we had some really good applicants. And I think these guys would agree with that. We had some quality people, and we were not sure which way to go. We had 3 people that were at least the #1 pick of 3 of us. So we talked more and more, met several more times, and I guess we're like the old, all you running the construction business, like the old partner said, measure twice and cut once. And so we felt like it was worthy of some additional time. We then decided to interview the final 2 again. That wasn't because we were indecisive. We wanted to talk to them again. We wanted to ask them some questions. It was more informal. We let them talk just about things that were important to them. And from that, we talked, and I think all 5 of us discussed that we would be happy with either one of those final 2 candidates. They're both young men, both very sharp, articulate, well-spoken, well-educated, and so it was a tough decision. And we talked about it more. And members of the press, I think I shared with you, we did not vote in closed session. I will tell you that publicly. But as chairman, I was able to gather what I thought would be a consensus, the candidate that we could come out and wholeheartedly support. And with that, as chairman, I'm going to entertain a motion, if somebody would make it. I'm going to entertain a motion that we make an offer to serve as county manager for Macon County to Derek Roland at a base salary of $100,000 per year. And that we also include on top of that $500 per month in travel allowance in lieu of a county vehicle. No county vehicle and $500, just the $500. And that we give him credit served at the town of Franklin toward longevity at Macon County. And furthermore, credit with annual leave in the amount representative that he accrued as an employee of Macon County for the past 20 months. Basically, he's just not going to lose any of his vacation, sick leave, longevity pay. And the last thing is that we pay his membership dues to National and State Managers Association. I would entertain that motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'm glad to make a motion to hire Derek Roland as the next Macon County manager.
Second. Second. Any discussion?
Yeah. Talk about it for a minute in the whole process. Being in the landscape business, I hired and fired a lot of people in my 12 years there, but I've never been part of hiring someone that's so important to so many people. I, like the rest of these commissioners, love Macon County, and I've taken it to heart, this decision that we're coming to make tonight. I want to go through with the general public kind of my thought process with it and how we came to conclusion. Before we started this process, I came up with a list of comments and questions about the particular applicant that we'd be looking for. I'm going to go through each one of those with y'all, and I want you to kind of see how I came to my decision. Under work experience and education, I commented that the applicant needs to have a degree in management and hopefully a master's in public administration. I think Mr. Roland definitely has a check by both of those, at least not very soon. Second item, the applicant should be familiar with county government and the legal environment in which they operate. Through the interview process, Derek handled all of those questions having to do with those aspects very well and very professionally. Should have some experience in local government. Derek now might not be a long time, but he both has experience in county government and local government. Needs to have a strong understanding of budgets and numbers. I struggled on this one with Derek. Some of the other applicants had a lot more experience with it, had done it a lot more. I don't know for a fact that Derek hasn't dealt with anything of this size and nature. However, sometimes the Lord speaks to you in mysterious ways. After our last meeting, I was stepping back into our back room back here. Lori Hall looked at me, and she didn't even know who we were looking at. She didn't know who the applicants were. And she looked at me and she goes, I just want you to know that I know y'all are going through this process, but she goes, don't you worry about the budgets and numbers. She goes, I've got it under control. And I can state for fact, I'm sure these gentlemen will agree with me, that we probably have one of the best finance directors in the state of North Carolina. She does a phenomenal job. So I'm able to overlook that with Derek. Number 5, excuse me, has to have connections and networking capabilities. Derek is exemplified both, and I'm allowed to say I think we've had some discussions with Jack about being somewhat of a mentor towards him. Moving on to personal characteristics. The applicant needs to be a sponge for a fast stay. Anyone that knows Derek, my experience of knowing him the last 3 years, he's almost a definition of that. He's a very, very sharp individual. Second item under personal characteristics, they need to have personal success in life and community. I can't think of anyone else in this county that's more of a testament to success in life and in the community than Derek Roland. He's dealt with some tragedy in his life, but he's kept things rolling. He's pursued his college degree, he's pursued his master's degree, and he's pursued a desire to stay here in Macon County, and I think that's very important. The applicant needs to have the ability to see the big picture and not just the details. As Macon County planner, Derek almost single-handedly wrote the Macon County Comprehensive Plan. I mean, holy cow, you do not come up with a better example of having the big picture than that. I mean, fantastic job. The applicant needs to work well with others. Needs to have a good attitude and be mature. Check, check. The applicant needs to have the ability to study all aspects of a problem in order to make a good judgment call. I've served as the liaison and as a co-member of the Macon County Plan Board with Derek, and he showed that ability in both items. The applicant needs to be not over-political. I couldn't tell you if Derek's Democrat or Republican or unaffiliated. So I think he answers that with a check. The applicant needs to understand Macon County and its people. Check, check, again. Derek's done he's grown up here, raised here, got his education here. I think he knows what goes on here. He knows the people of Macon County probably a lot better than I do. The applicant needs to have a strong desire to be in Macon County and doesn't want this job to be another rung in the ladder of success. In the interview process, Derek proclaimed that this is probably his ultimate job. And he has no desire to go anywhere else. And that was a sell for me on him because it lets me know that Derek is not going to fail. He's going to work his fanny out to make sure he does it right, because if he does fail, then he's lost one of his life goals. The applicant needs to have a tremendous upside, and they can look at Macon County with fresh eyes. Again, check, check. Derek's going to be able to do both of those items. The applicant needs to have confidence in his abilities and not be looking to other people all the time for answers. Out of the 4 people that we interviewed, I'm sure, again, you gentlemen will agree with me. His very last interview with us, he proclaimed that he could do this job and he was ready for this job and he wanted this job. And that dug deep with me. But what ultimately, and this is my personal notation after this, after my work in education, personal characteristics, again, the only comment I had against him was his budget experience. And Lori eased my comfort level tremendously with that. But what ultimately sold me on Derek is that I had the ultimate confidence that he will study all aspects of a problem and that he will undoubtedly use that information to make the best decision for Macon County as a whole and not for a particular individual group. And I know he'll do a great job. So you will get my vote, Mr. Roland.
Well said. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, Jim Tate put it about as good as you could put a lot of those things. For me, it boiled down to two things. Number one, we always talk about, and I've talked about for years, the brain drain in Macon County. The young folks grow up, get education, they're gone. My children are there, you know. So with that, and Derek is a homegrown boy, the reserves I had was the experience. Of course, you have to sit back and look. I worked with Jack Horton, who had 35 years. Sam Greenwood had 135 years. So, you know, I mean, they know what they're doing. What I put a lot of thought into it too, and known Derek a long time, probably since he was a very, very young man, like Paul has, and proud of the man that he's become, and the county manager he's become. And what makes it, the experience, this board probably won't take criticism for hiring such a lack of experience. If so, my answer to that was you have some of the most experienced department heads of any county in this state, Derek, and a lot of them are here tonight. And I believe all of them will stop for him. And they'll have to. It'll be a learning curve, you know that. But you have some, if not the most experienced department heads, to start in almost any department. And they'll work with you. So I'm proud to support Derek.
Any other discussion?
I'd like to make a comment. Commissioner Tate, you really done great for what you said. You said about everything we discussed and talked about what we were looking for a county manager. And I know that, just as Commissioner Beal says, there's been people out there with a lot more experience and this, that, and the other. But you know, you live and learn something. And I've sat back and I've watched what has happened to hiring school superintendents for other places. So we had that same option of hiring somebody from another place. And I think the most important thing to me is having a county manager with everything that Derek said and then some, Commissioner Tate said and then some, about you being the person who will stand for this county. You've got roots here, you've got family here, you've got friends here, you know the county from one side to the other. If I told you something about Cal, you don't have to grab a map and learn where that's at, you know where it's at. If I mention Birmingham, you know where that's at. You're looking, the way that I see it, in the interview, to be a person with a career, to stay at this, so you know what you gotta work with, what you gotta do. If you come up on a stumbling block, I think that we have pointed out along with you know, so you can get answers from. Now, Commissioner Beal made a statement in one of our private sections. We were talking about 100 counties in North Carolina, and over 30 of them right now need a manager. Now, this may be a crude way of saying it, but I'm going to say it nice. But I think the reason that they are, it's hard ever Tom, Dick, and Harry to come by to look good on paper. Hard somebody that didn't know. Every one of us knows you. That's why we make a final selection. Give you this opportunity. And I look forward to you being the best county manager that's going to have.
discussion.
Well, I'm excited. We've got Derek, and as Bonnie mentioned, the brain drain thing, I've always been a strong advocate of hiring local. And we had, I guess I can say everybody knows, that we had a couple of local candidates in this process, and they were head and shoulders above anybody we interviewed. I mean, we've got some of the best talent, not only in county manager position, but in every position down as has been mentioned. We've got a great team here. And what excites me about Derek is a youth and a new approach to government. And I think that we as a group have got to approach the dispensation of government in a new form. We can't do things the way we've always done and survive. The economic, financial situations, we're just in different times. And I'm excited that we've got a young guy. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank Mike Decker and Pam Perry and Pam Ledford for leading us through this lengthy process. Without Mike, I don't think we would have been here tonight. He scheduled the meetings, responded to all of the 38 applicants, did it in a special manner. Of course, he's paid for it, but that's what he went above and beyond. And Mike, I thank you and the two Pams for what you've done leading us to this point.
And like everybody spoke, who made the motion? All who second? Would you guys accept? I didn't put this in my recommendation, but we start that week, December 16th.
That'd be the day he would. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
I spoke with Derek, and that if he wanted this 2-week notice, that's 3-week notice. And that gets him in, my opinion, is wait till the first of the year, getting him ready, let's get him in, let him figure out what's going on during the holidays, during the quieter time. So I would recommend the 16th, you guys can accept that.
That's fine. What day does our December meeting? 10th.
On Tuesday.
Yeah, I know that.
And if we have any other business to do with this, we can take care of it. So, all right. With that said, any other discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion as stated, raise your right hand. Opposed? That was unanimous vote. And I think that's important. As chairman, going through the process, I will tell you that I asked my fellow commissioners if we possibly could, let's find a candidate that would support unanimous. That's important. I did want the county manager coming in with a split vote, 4-1. And that was important. That speaks to the confidence we have in you, the support that we're going to give you. We want to give you the tools to take us to be successful. Derek, do you have anything to say? Speak.
I think it goes without saying that this is the greatest honor that I have ever received in my life. And as we discussed in the interviews, this is because it gives me an opportunity to continue my public service in Macon. And I've never been more proud to stand in front of anyone and say that, as alluded to by a few of you tonight, that I am a product of Macon County. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud to be a product of the Macon County school system. I'm proud to be a product of the Franklin High School athletic program. And I'm proud to be a product of the citizens of Macon County. And aside from God and my family, it is these citizens that I owe everything to, because they're the ones that have been there for me in times of tragedy, have been there to pat me on the back when I've done a good job. And without that, I could have never been standing here today. And I look forward to working at the direction of this board, because I think in all the decisions this board makes, I know with all my heart, and in listening to you in the interviewing process and listening to you here tonight and working with you previously, I know beyond the shadow of a doubt that each one of you have the best interest of Macon County at heart. And that's something that at the end of the day, the employees of this organization that you said, Mr. Bill, this is the best employees anywhere in the state of North Carolina. And somebody asked me the other day, and I thought about it, you know, and they said, are you nervous about taking this position if you get offered this position? And, you know, I got to scratching my head there, and I couldn't lie and say I wouldn't be nervous, because I am nervous, but it's a good nerve. It's butterflies like you get when you're in the batter's box and bases are loaded with a 3-2 count. And you're getting up there and you know we're going to put one right down the middle. And the reason that I can go into this position confident is because that I know I'm coming home. I worked for Macon County before and worked first hand with these department heads and saw their professionalism and saw their desire to give something back and to be public service, because at the end of the day that's what everyone in this organization is a public servant. And they taught me. I was hired on at 24 years old to the county planner position, and the employees of this organization are who taught me what it means to be a public servant. And I'm forever indebted to these employees of this organization and to the citizens of Macon County, and I look forward to working under the direction of a board that I know beyond a shadow of a doubt has the best interest of Macon County at heart. And I thank you for this unanimous vote, and as I've said before, it's with great honor that I wholeheartedly accept it. And I look forward to working with each and every one.
Thank you, Mr. Man. Derek, look good, Derek.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the big house, son.
Get a picture. We'll stand behind you guys. Is that a good spot?
I never gonna move in this podium. It is the worst with the photographs.
There.
Can you get the seal?
Yeah.
You'll do that, but you look-
Oh, come this way.
you back up. Right there. Just like, oh, that's good. I know, it's perfect. See how long you gotta sit and smile?
It's an endurance test.
Okay.
Okay, look over here for me. 1, 2, 3, go. One more for back up. Thank you all.
I mean, while Derek's up here, I mean, if you know his uncle, Mickey Duval. Mickey's the county manager, was formerly county manager of Drayton County. He's now the county manager of Pender County, which is somewhere way down, long way from here, right, man?
On the coast.
On the coast.
See goes.
So, and I'd mentioned to Mickey, I said, I would imagine if Derek has a question or two, you'd be willing to help him. I think we've already had that conversation. And Derek, I asked you in the meeting a couple of minutes, you guys have mentioned that Jack Horton's available. He's still here. He's retired in the county. And so we encourage you to do a phone call.
I spoke with Jack today, as a matter of fact, and he was very enthusiastic about Jack helped. He's one of the ones I alluded to that showed me what it meant to be a public servant. He was very enthusiastic and very, very proud of me. Extended his congratulations and also extended to let me know that he would be available and more than willing to address any questions that I have with him. He's willing to do that at any time.
Just so you know, Derek, on March the 2nd, you'll be addressing the County Community Association in North Carolina, Washington, D.C. On March the 2nd.
And Derek's younger brother, Mike. Good to have you with us, Mike.
Yeah, I'm glad to have my little
Michael,
brother.
are you healing, son?
Doing good.
You better?
Yes, sir.
Michael's a senior at Macon High School, right?
Yes, sir.
Michael sustained an injury that put him out of his senior year of football, and then They had to go back in and rehook, didn't they, Mike? Rehook everything again. What are you doing there?
Mike Decker, he has a business come before the board.
I've got one thing, Mr. Chairman, you got your calendar?
I do. Calendar.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know how, but on the, just give everybody a heads up on the January meeting's on the 14th. I gotta be in Raleigh at 8 o'clock the next morning. And I know Jeff will. Never has. He is, they do it all the time.
Headshot.
If there's any business or anything, just keep that in mind. If something comes up, if the manager will be in place, he'll set the agenda then.
If we need to, we can move this one first.
Well, I mean, I'm just asking for if somebody, if it messes with somebody else, I could possibly get 15. It's hard to change 85 people. I tried. But if it messes anybody else up.
Duly noted.
And it is March, Washington is March 1st through the 5th. So,
And I talked to Congressman Meadows today, and he's on the committee talking about this whole healthcare thing, and asked me about they're willing to come to Washington and testify. I told him I'd be happy to tell him what I thought about it. I thought the people would want to hear it. Anyway, he would welcome us if we attend in Washington. He's going to spend some time with us up there. Mike, anything else?
have you, Robert, the letter that Kevin and, did we address that?
I have passed that on to Bill and asked him for it.
Mr. Chairman, motion to adjourn.
Second, Steve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Adjourned. Manager, you're welcome. Yeah, you get the fireman now.
Let me see that.
Just what, Derek, is that?